for Alcaide to break.
Where's the 9 ball? Oh, so close to a golden break. I don't think you can get any closer.
Yeah, you're almost tempted to call it a silver break. It's so close to the gold. That is amazing. It's one of those, if it was a golf shot, you'd wait the permitted 10 seconds and hope that it might still drop. I think we'll see it even more illustrated here from the overhead angle. Look at that. You're still waiting for it to drop. Absolutely incredible.
Of course, the first chance to knock a ball onto it, any contact made, it goes in.
He's not thinking of attempting it here, is he?
Extension, please.
Bank the 2 onto the 9.
Yeah, I think the 6 is the issue there.
Yeah, so I was thinking that I'm not sure there's room for it to get by. No, no such thoughts. He might have had a go at that if the 6 hadn't been intervening. But anyway, very nearly a golden break. Consolation is playing a decent safety. On the other table, big story developing there. Aloysius Yap was flying along against Jason Shaw. Shaw's close to 3-2, but Yap has just had a dreadful miss on the 6 in the 6th rack.
Jason out of his chair like a jack in the box.
That's what you got to do when these opportunities pop up. So a complete turnaround on the other table. Looks pretty much certain it's going 3-all there. Yap is one of those players in that bracket on 5 wins with 2 to play. I'll be absolutely sick if he loses this one now after the 6 he's missed. Is Alcaide trying to jump to hit the 2 to play the combination onto the 9? Yes, and he's pulled it off. Flirted with the other corner pocket. David Alcaide didn't get the golden break, but he has got the first rack.
Yes, any kind of contact there would have been absolutely fine. And in goes the 9. So 1-0 there, as Michael said. 3-3 on the other table. Yap does have one more match to come later on today against Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz. But that's going to be quite a lengthy and no doubt worrying wait.
We're saying Alcaide needs to get the winning habit back. He did win his last match, and he couldn't have asked to play any better. It was an incredible match late last night against Declan Catchy. Every single rack was a break and run. They traded blows all the way to Alcaide winning 5-4. Very often the significance of winning the lag doesn't show up so much in getting to break in the first rack as it does in the fact that it means if you go to a decider, you'll get the break in that. Proved to be such a big difference. Anyway, Alcaide looking for back-to-back wins, and he's 1-0 up.
The right-hand middle pocket, a popular destination. Now the 1's in, so the focus of attention becomes the 2. 2-7 combination, maybe.
24 years of age, Oliver Szolnoki from Hungary. Semi-finalist at the World Championship last year. At the US Open, he twice got to within one match of a place in the last 16. Once on the winner's side and once on the one-loss side. Also won a big event in South Carolina late in the year. Beat some really good players along the way. Alex Kazakis, Shane Van Boening, Joshua Filler. It also knocked Van Boening out of the World Championship during that run to the last four.
Cozied up behind the 5-ball.
Extension, please.
There's room around the blue too. Tell you what, he will be happy with that, although I think enough of the two is stuck out to be potable.
And Lucius Jaap just looking to reassert himself here. Stem the tide of the Jason Shaw recovery. Looks like going 4-3.
Yeah, we've just seen on table one why I said that Alcaide wouldn't have been overly dissatisfied with his previous escape attempt. Yes, he left the pot on, but on these 4-inch pockets, that was by no means a gimme.
League formats in Milton Keynes appear to be to David Alcaide's liking. He was runner-up in the Championship League here almost a year ago now. He's been one of the front runners from an early stage in this Predator Premier League. Very firmly into the second phase. But we'll really want to find at least one more win to add to the 8 he's already got to take into phase 2, which starts tomorrow morning.
You know, he suffered a skid yesterday. We haven't seen too many of them, and I think that was another. Sometimes a skid causes the pot to go astray. That one, I think, took a little bit of juice out of the cue ball, so this is missable.
Yeah, had to steel himself for that one, didn't he? Bit of recovery work to do, but he's done it nicely, and David Alcaide has progressed into a 2-0 lead. Coming down to the end of rack 8 on the other table, and it looks as though this one is going hill-hill. Huge match this for Lucius Jaap.
And all the players around Yap will be cheering on Eagle Eye. Jason Shaw could do them a big favour.
That's the third match in a row that's gone 4-all for Yap. He's won the previous two against Mieszko Fortunski last night, and then against Alexander Kazakis earlier today. Well, going into that deciding rack against Kazakis, I remember commenting that it was surely his most significant rack of the week so far. I think the ante has been upped a little further now for this one. This is even more important. If he can win it, we'll send him into that last match against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Still in with a great chance, and possibly with his fate in his own hands. So we'll keep a very close eye on that. Back here, Oliver Szolnoki needs to get back into this one. He's 2-0 down. Alcaide with the break. And a nice one, Phil.
Yeah, all in all, not too bad. The one going out to that left-hand side of the table means he can pot that. Maybe 7 and 8 might cause him a problem down the line.
Yap not getting the split he was looking for from the break on the other table. That was his biggest shot of the tournament so far.
Push out code.
Touch of running side on the cue ball to get over in the right segment for the 5. Big positional margin of error to go from 5 to 6, which is right over the pocket. And then comes the intriguing shot.
Extension, please.
Now, if the 7-8 combination is onto the middle pocket, then there's nothing to be concerned about. But I don't know whether it is. I don't think it is, actually, to look at it from here. Maybe it's heading towards that near jaw. Yeah, so now, well, he's got two choices. The extravagant pot to the bottom right, or the lockup.
And he's got him locked up good and proper here. So much pressure on Szolnoki on this shot. He's already 2-0 down. One false move here. He knows it's going to 3.
Extension, please.
Jason Shaw's just played a wonderful shot on the other table. Potting a tough one. Coming round a couple of cushions, getting round the back of the 4. Here it is. And on the 2 to the side pocket. And with ball in hand, you would be amazed if Alcaide doesn't go 3-0 here.
Yes, the lock-up behind the 8-ball was clearly the way to go. It was 100% the right thing to do, the most sensible option. And now it's paid dividends. Szolnoki, at minimum, had to make contact, and when he didn't, basically the rack was sold down the river.
Oliver Szolnoki, the man who really needs the win here. Maybe he needs two of them. But it's David Alcaide who looks the more likely to get it at the moment. He leads 3-0. Day full of significant moments in this race to be in the second phase of the Predator Premier League, and this is another one. Jason Shaw turning around a match that he looked for a long time like he was going to lose. Wonderful pot on the one in the deciding rack. He's beaten Lucius Yap 5-4. Now you can see he's up into second place now, joins Alban Ocean on 10 wins with 2 matches to play, but he's got a better rack difference, significantly better in fact. Still not beyond the realms of possibility. He could go through in first place. As for Yap, he really needed a win there. He's only got one more match now. He can still get to 6 wins. It may or may not be enough. Could well turn out that 7 is going to be the target. So that's the significance of all of that. So just one match left in the early session. And Oliver Szolnoki really needs the win. He's on 5 wins as well. He's only got one more match to play after this one. That'll be against Mieszko Fortunski, and that could be all decisive.
All correct, Michael. The other thing to say is that Szolnoki, yes, of course, he wants the win. What he doesn't want, if he were to be heavily beaten here, 5-0, 5-1, that would be terrible for his rack's difference.
Yeah, because the way it's looking at the moment, and it's all guesswork, I would surmise that players on 6 will then be depending on their rack's difference to determine whether or not they go through. But all sorts of things can still change. Szolnoki really needs his fortunes in this match to change. He's come up dry there at a really bad time.
And remember, Alcaide has already completed a whitewash in this round-robin group. Very early on against his pal and fellow countryman, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz.
Yeah, the two of them made very contrasting starts. Alcaide was among the front runners from the start. Sanchez Ruiz was an early struggler, but they actually now have the same number of wins on the board, albeit that FSR has played one match more.
Extension, please.
Oh, this is real quality. And a decent chance for Alcaide. If you met David Alcaide, I'm saying you'd probably guess he was mid-20s. He's actually 43, which at the highest level of pool nowadays makes him something of an old man.
Always very friendly, approachable. Good ambassador for the sport. It was quite funny this morning, actually. I was mentioning this earlier. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz and David Alcaide were giving Naoki Oi some Spanish lessons.
Well, my biggest regret of the week is I wasn't around to hear that. Fantastic stuff. And knowing Naoki, he's liable to give a post-match interview in Spanish if the mood takes him. Two really good guys, the two Spanish players here. You have to think, by the law of averages, at some point, very good chance they're going to win a World Cup together.
The problem with the World Cup, if you're a player, and it's not a problem for the viewing public, is that I think nowadays there are more potential winners than ever before. So many nations could lift that trophy.
Yeah, and so many pitfalls along the way. I mean, we saw that more than ever in last year's staging. Austria losing to Slovakia. There's never been a more surprising World Cup result than that. And it wasn't the only one. Spain have been semi-finalists with Alcaide and Sanchez Ruiz in Leicester back in 2019. Well, this is not what Szolnoki had in mind in terms of the match, and that was not what Alcaide was planning positionally. He'd still back him to get this all day long, but just that little bit of doubt.
Yeah, wee bit clumsy, that.
So Alcaide 4-0 up. He's got the break in the next rack. Szolnoki is in the realms of miracle seeking. So we're coming towards the end of the early session on day 5. Intriguing stuff it's been, you have to say, all the way. And here's what's coming up tonight. Shane Van Bonen against Jason Shaw. How do you fancy that to kick off your Friday tea time? And then Van Bonen against Albin Ocean after that. Ocean will follow on in match 3 against Kelly Fisher, who is still looking for wins. Then it's Jason Shaw again against Mieszko Fortunski. He's definitely still looking for some more W's on the board. Skylar Woodward against Kelly Fisher. And then that one we're all looking forward to later, Oliver Szolnoki against Mieszko Fortunski, which may well prove to be an eliminator for the last place in the next phase. Naoki Oi, his week has turned disappointing after a good start. He's first up against Omar Al Shaheen. That's the start of 3 in a row for the man from Kuwait. He also faces Skylar Woodward and Alex Kazakis. Ekland Kachi, who struggled so badly, he's going to play Kazakis after that. Then Olusius Yap against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. And then to finish off, David Alcaide against Joshua Filler. That'll be a nice way to round off the table 2 action for this first phase. So what hope has Oliver Szolnoki got?
4-0 in favor of Mr.
He
Alcaide.
needs David Alcaide to throw him some sort of lifeline from this break.
And Alcaide potentially has got 3 breaks with which to lock this match up. How's this one worked out? The 2 going next to the 6, that might be a snag for him. Yes, the open shot on the 1. That's a positive. Significantly overhit that. Can see a sliver of the 2, so he can run away to safety. And the 2 and the 6 close together was Alcaide's problem. Now that problem is transferred to Szolnoki.
Must feel like a long time ago now, since he had 2 wins out of 2 on Monday. Beat Omar Al Shaheen and Max Lechner in his first 2 matches.
Extension, please.
Then lost all of his next 4. They were all quite comprehensive as well. And you feel since then Szolnoki has really been fighting a battle with himself to rediscover the form he had at the start of the week.
Well, the 2 is potable now. And where it's come to rest, actually,
Yes, you do.
means that Alcaide doesn't have particularly hampered queuing. Had he been straighter on the 2, he might have had.
Extension, please.
The bell could be tolling here, Michael.
Yeah, he's just not got into this match at all, Szolnoki. You wouldn't say Alcaide's played out of his skin, but he's been doing enough.
The 4 easily floated past the 7. And now the table is at Alcaide's mercy.
Well, De La Soul said 3 was the magic number. It was never likely to be here. But our views of what it is going to be have kept changing over the last few days. And just looking at the way the results have played out, I think now 6 is looking more likely to get you through than it would have done at the start of the day. I think 7 basically guarantees it. But I think 6 now is the target they've got to aim for. So Szolnoki still has a chance. But he'll have to win his last match. And that's going to be against Mieszko Fortunski, who's also on 5 wins. Fortunski, of course, still has a chance to get to 6 before they play each other when he faces Jason Shaw. But I do think 6 is more likely to get you through now, given the way the results have played out this morning, than it looked as though it was going to be.
Twin whitewashes, it would seem, for David Alcaide, 4 days apart, and they really do improve your racks difference.
Yeah, and Oliver Szolnoki, in contrast, has had a 5-2 defeat and now a